Everyone in the hotel industry seems to be in favor of Metasearch Engines. Or let me put it the other way around. Have you ever heard someone telling you and telling all hoteliers to stay away from Metasearch Engines? Likely not, as Metasearch Engines is kind of a buzzword in recent times in the hospitality industry. But hopefully, yes, someone did warn you about the pitfalls that lie hidden behind Metasearch. And so in this video, I'm going to share with you some of the reasons to why, in my opinion, in this historical moment, is not necessarily a good option or a good idea to invest in Metasearch, when it is not a good idea to invest in Metasearch, and why Google Hotel Ads is probably the only options that we have. These and more coming up, so let's dig in. Hey, my name is Ale and welcome to Direct Your Bookings YouTube channel, the channel in which I share with independent hoteliers strategies and techniques to get more revenue and get more direct bookings. And so if you want to stay up to date with everything that is related to hotel marketing, web marketing, revenue and distributions, hotel data analytics, well, this is probably your channel and you might want to subscribe to it. But without further ado, let's dig into the topic. Is it really worth investing in Metasearch, and why I think most of the times it's not really worth it? And the very first point, first and foremost, is, are you in control of your distribution? And look, whether you answer yes or no, there is only one thing that really sets you in the driver's seat of your hotel distribution, which is make sure to collect all booking payment. In simple words, do customers, bookers online pay you upon arrival or upon checkout, as opposed to paying the OTAs? Well, good. This is probably the most important starting point for you to be in control of your distribution. Do you instead let third-party channels like OTAs, wholesalers, tour operator collect the payment of those bookings? Good, well, or no good, because plain and simple, you are not in control of your distribution 100%. And so what does it have to do with Metasearch Engines? So let's check this out. This is a typical scenario in Google Hotel Ads with a bunch of featured options on top and a bunch of free booking listings underneath. The direct booking channel is listed in the featured options other than free booking links, which means when clicking on this featured option, well, essentially this will generate a cost. However, it's pretty clear in this case that this hotel has some distribution issues. And so the question is, does it really make sense to potentially pay for being listed there and for receiving a click in that position when there are other channels that are actually way cheaper? Someone may argue that if people don't click on it, the hotel doesn't pay. But let's think about it together, because the point is, these are the results that pop up when people search with the hotel brand name or the hotel name in the Google search. And when people search with hotel name, there are typically two different intentions behind those searches, either transactional or navigational. Transactional is someone who has already cleared up his mind, is there and is searching for that hotel name because he wants to make a booking. Navigational instead is when people are still in that kind of discovery mode, they're still in their planning phase, and therefore they're moving around. Probably they have already seen this hotel as a result of the OTA scraping, and now they want to get onto the hotel's website in order to gather more information. But let's say one by one. Transactional. We pay to be there, but since we have higher rates, our likeliness to get a click gets slimmer and slimmer. In other words, our CTR, the click-through rate, becomes slimmer and slimmer. And eventually, the lower the CTR, the greater the cost we're going to pay for that click. In fact, just like most advertising platforms, this is an auction-based game. Two of the most important variables that we need to be sure that we are in control of in order to be in those prominent positions are cost, meaning what we are willing to pay to be there, aka the CPC, the cost per click. And the second one is the CTR, meaning the likeliness to get clicked. And so probably now you understand that claiming a featured slot is not only useless, it can be harmful. Let's talk about the navigational intention, meaning people or someone who hasn't cleared up his mind in terms of where he wants to go to, which hotel he wants to book, and therefore he's just looking around, searching for that specific hotel because probably he has already seen it in the OTA listing, and he wants to get and to gather more information by visiting their website. The prospect is not ready yet to make a booking, he just wants to gather information. And so he's looking for just a link whatever link that points to your website, he probably sees that higher rate result as the most prominent result, and therefore likely he will click on it, and you will pay for a click that will not even bring you a booking. And so the result is that you paid to have that click, to have that user that you would have got anyway organically for free. But even worse, you have already showed him what your rates are going to be, and your rates are going to be higher than other channels, meaning that when he will clear up his mind and will be ready to finally make a booking, he will likely go directly to some other channels, because you have already set yourself out of competition. Useless paid clicks that eroded your budget. Now, I know that many hotels have a commission-based model with Metasearch Engines, so that they don't pay per click, but they pay per commission, even commission on reservation or even commission on stay. And therefore, this concept that we just went through may not apply to them. In reality, it still applies to everyone. Commission-based models are actually the least profitable for Google, because actually Google is taking all the risk to eventually expose an hotel without the guarantee of getting a booking. And this is also one of the variables in the auction-based game that we have seen together. And so certainly a commission-based model may be the safest way to be on Meta, yet definitely not the most profitable one. What I have just shown you is just probably the most classic example as to why you should not be on Meta if this is your situation, not even on Google. But what if instead you are in control of your distribution? Should you or should you not be on Meta? And look, I've been playing with Metasearch Engines for quite a while now, especially in the last year, and I've come to the conclusion that, to be honest, it doesn't make any sense to be on any Meta except Google Hotel Ads. And here is why. This is a hotel that I follow, and this screenshot was taken a few days after activating TripAdvisor in addition to Google Hotel Ads. As you can see, the hotel distribution now is perfectly fine. Now the direct price is clearly the cheapest and best price. But you see what happens here? TripAdvisor, that is a meta search engine, using Google Hotel Ads, which is another meta search engine, to show up with our rate. Do you see what's happening here? What is happening here is that I have been competing with myself. Instead of being the one and only on this channel with the cheapest rate, now I am competing with another channel that is taking rates that I have been feeding them with and that I am paying them for to get me visibility and exposure somewhere else. In a situation like this, TripAdvisor, that again is a meta search engine or should be a meta search engine, behaves as another OTA. And remember, this is an auction-based game, so the greater the competition, the higher the cost. And okay, now you might say, yes, but even if people click on that TripAdvisor link, they anyway end up on my site, and eventually I will get a direct booking. And probably in this situation, my answer would be, don't underestimate how freaking lazy people are, especially on the web. And let's see that together, because this is exactly what I've seen after clicking on the TripAdvisor result in the Google Hotel Ads listing. My cheapest direct booking rate is there. However, the most prominent results is bookings. How many more chances would I have if my official price would be in bookings position, in that so prominent position? In fact, that view deal button, the yellow button, is so prominent as opposed to any other option that people may just click on it without realizing that they're selecting a higher rate. This is what I refer to as the reversed billboard effect, the revenge of all the OTAs. They leverage the direct booking price to direct traffic to their own sites. How smart is that? Congrats to them. And so now what about Kayak, Skyscanner, Trivago, and all other meta search engines? And look, I mean, even combining them all, you will not get the same exposure and the same visibility that just Google Hotel Ads will be able to give you. And it mainly depends on your budget, because especially if you have slim budgets, spreading that budget or splitting that budget across multiple channels like horizontal is not going to be any beneficial. It's better to go vertical on one single channel, and of course the GHA is the one channel, and focusing on that. The myth of thinking of being on all metas is like the myth of thinking of being on all OTAs in order to get more exposure and more visibility. It's just not efficient, period. And since I have to admit I'm a decluttering lover, my concept is very simple: the less, the better. Yet please do not forget the most important thing, the starting point. Own your distribution. Own it, master it, or just accept it to be played by.